Welcome back to Black News Tonight. It's now time to see what's going on in the digital streets. Former UNLV basketball player Dylan Gonzalez has released an official statement accusing singer Trey Songz of rape. Gonzalez's statement read in part, quote, "With what seems like endlessly reoccurring news of the alleged sexual assaults committed by Trey Songz, I am forced to repeatedly relive in my mind and suffer anew the long-suppressed horror and unbearable PTSD of my rape by his very hands at a well-known Las Vegas hotel." According to the Daily Beast, the alleged rape took place 9 years ago. Songz has since denied the claims through his team, releasing a statement saying, quote, "Trey and his team are confident in the legal process and that there will be an abundance of exonerating information to come over the next few weeks." The first thing that I would say is that these are allegations and that he is entitled to whatever due process the law allows. That is not untrue. It's also not surprising that he would have confidence in the legal system, because the legal system, the criminal legal system, is ill-equipped to deal with allegations of sexual violence oftentimes, particularly in a rape culture, particularly in a society where women are assumed to be lying. Particularly in a society where we say, well, what was she doing with him? Why was she there? Why was she in a hotel? Why was this? Why was this? And we spend more time dissecting the victims than we do the alleged perpetrators in these circumstances. And so Trey Songz' confidence, to me, does not say whether he's innocent or he's guilty. And again, everybody's entitled to their due process. The truth will hopefully come out, and whatever evidence is there will be produced. But the level of trauma that this young woman has clearly undergone, the level of pain that she's struggled with, both in her New Year's Eve tweet and what she put on social media the other day, suggests to me that we need to take her claims seriously, that we need to take the claims of all women seriously when they allege sexual violence or sexual assault, sexual harassment, sexual misconduct of any sort. And when the digital streets started really buzzing, it was not just when she made her claim, but when multiple people began to talk about Trey Songz and issue their statements, their claims, their stories, their experiences, not all of which were about sexual violence, but do speak to a certain type of disposition toward women and their bodies. That's something we have to take seriously. And whether he's proven innocent or guilty, we have to take a very close, scrutinous look at Trey Songz and ask the tough questions that need to be asked and respond appropriately. If it seems like I'm walking a legal tightrope because I can't say exactly what I'm thinking, that's true, because as quickly as these people grab their lawyers, they will grab a lawyer to shut down any dissent and any critique and any allegation, not because they're innocent, for example, but because they don't want to be exposed. All right, actress Lisa Ray. Let's move on to actress Lisa Ray She went off on social media influencer Ari Fletcher for some cringy comments that she made about domestic violence. Recently, Fletcher went on a podcast called the Don't Call Me White Girl podcast, where she shared that she often started arguments in previous relationships hoping for a gun to be pulled out on her. Following the insensitive comments, Rihanna reportedly dropped Fletcher from the Savage X Fenty brand, and now Lisa Ray is calling out Fletcher, stating that the remarks were out of line and that she should apologize. Not much to say here except I agree. She should apologize. Those remarks were out of line, and hopefully she does apologize and the healing work can begin to all people who were harmed by her comments and by the broader problem. TV host Steve Harvey blames cancel culture for why he hasn't recently done stand-up comedy. While promoting his new series, Judge Steve Harvey, the TV host said that political correctness has killed comedy, adding that if he were to do stand-up, cancel culture would cost him his career. Harvey also stated that Dave Chappelle is the only stand-up comedian who can say what he wants because he is subscription-driven and not sponsor-driven. Steve Harvey's right about something here. He would absolutely be criticized and called to the mat and maybe lose some of his lucrative TV gigs, particularly the family-oriented ones, if he did a certain kind of comedy. I don't call that cancel culture, though. That's where he and I respectfully disagree. I think that that's accountability culture. If you say things that offend people, if you say things that cause harm to people, and people decide to let their their voices and their dollars, their spending patterns do the talking for them, then yes, you may lose a sponsorship, you may lose a TV show. That to me isn't a problem. That to me is what accountability and democracy looks like. Should people have room to be unsettling? Should people have room to make people uncomfortable? Good comedy always makes people uneasy. It unsettles them. But I think it can become somewhat of a lazy go-to whenever people are held accountable by saying, oh, this is cancel culture just because I made this joke about a sexist joke, or I made a racist joke, or I made an anti-Semitic joke, or I made a transphobic or homophobic joke. Now they're canceling me. You're not being canceled. You're being held accountable, and we need accountability at this moment just like every other moment. But fortunately for Steve Harvey, it's not a problem that he has to struggle with because he has an extraordinary career, including a wonderful new TV show that I hope does very, very well.